Hello guys, welcome to today's market flashcard session. It's been a very long time. We are finally here for another market flashcard session. Now, before we get into it, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button if today is your first time and you haven't subscribed yet. It means a lot to us. Kindly subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell so that I get notified anytime we have to drop a video like that. Now, today we are going to attempt as usual to break down a few of the trades we took over the past week or the past 2 weeks. We're going to attempt to understand the perspectives from which we took this trade and what we were expecting to happen and how the market reacted, what the market did in this trade. So we are going to get straight into it without wasting any more time. So let's get into it. Now we are going to look at our first trade, which was GBP USD. Now we first spotted this trade from the 1 hour time frame. So that is that is where we first spotted the opportunity on this trade or the idea on this trade. So as usual, I've said it so many times that market structure is the basis for most of the trades that I take. Okay, now it should be the basis for most of the trades you should take, simply because the market structure is what defines, the it's what defines mostly the behavior of whichever asset you are looking at. So the behavior will, from the technical perspective, will mostly be defined by the structure it's having. Okay, so GBP USD was making higher highs, higher high, low, higher low, higher high, higher low. So you can see from this point out here, it was just making higher highs and higher lows. So GBP USD was clearly in a bullish structure or in an uptrend. Okay, so higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then at this point, you could see it couldn't really make a higher high. And the next thing is that it came down to break this old low. Now that is a significant point in the market. Now this is showing that the bullish structure here has been possibly distorted with the break of this low. Once all these lows remained intact and a new high was being formed, it was clearly in an uptrend. But at this point, a new high wasn't formed, and then this low was no more intact. So this point here is a clear shift in structure. If you're paying attention to market, this is the point where you notice a clear shift in market structure. Price broke this low here and then pulled back to gather some more orders here, and then came back down to break another low here. So at this point, you've gotten a lower low, a lower high, a lower low here. So at this point, you could see that price has now entered a bearish structure. So price broke this low here and then pulled back again into this sensitive zone. Now this sensitive zone here was the source of the break of this low, and that makes this sensitive zone a very strong zone. Anytime price gets into the zone, price is likely to react to it. The zone is likely to propel price because it is a very strong zone for the fact that it has been able to break this low here. It has been able to be the source of the break of this low here. That it makes this source or this zone here a very, very strong zone. So expecting that because this zone is a very strong zone, anytime price gets to there, you are most likely to get a proportion or repulsion, as you say. Price is most likely to repair. This zone is most likely to repel prices when they get there. Okay, so then price got into this zone, and this is where it got interesting. This is where we took our trade from. Okay, so we're looking for an entry from this point here downwards. All right, now let's go on to so we refined our entry, our trade into our setup into a 5 minutes time frame to look for an entry. That is what we do that most of the times when we are looking at picking out entries in lower time frames. So refining entries. Okay, to refining charts or trades to get a lower time frame entries. Okay, so that is what we did for GBP USD. Looking at 1 hour time frame, we couldn't really see the point of entry. So if you are not finding an entry in a bigger time frame, you can do yourself some good by refining your charts and getting a lower time frame entries. Now, one of the most important things about that is it reduces your risk a lot as compared to if you're going to have to take an entry from a very huge time frame. If you lower the time frame, you took out a few of the noise, a few of the doubts, and then you get a very low risk entry. Okay, from lower time frame entry. So in lower time frame, in 5 minutes, you looked at three zones where price could possibly get a reaction from. Okay, so these three zones, we had one here, the second one, and then the third zone here. Okay, so price could ultimately have a turnaround from or could react to any of these zones for the cells. But we didn't know which one it was yet. But I knew price was obviously going to react to one of these zones. Okay, so we went into to pick out an entry from the second zone here. Okay, I think I actually picked out an entry from the first zone, and I took a minor loss of about 9 pips. And then I got the second entry in place, and I had a third entry in place. If price was, unfortunately broken through, had unfortunately broken through this zone, but I still had the last zone here as I outlined here. So the first zone was here, the second zone, and then the last zone. Okay, so I took the trade from the first zone. I think I took a minor loss of 9 pips, like I said earlier. Then I took the second zone, and I would have taken the last one if price had broken through this one too. Because I was risking very little from all the three zones, it wouldn't have hurt me a lot. Okay, so I took my entry from this second zone on 5 minute time frame. I risked very, very little, and then it was a beautiful trade. Price reacted nicely to that zone, came down, broke this low, pulled back again into the zone, and then came all the way down. Properly executed. This trade was discussed in the community channel on Telegram. If you haven't joined our community channel on Telegram, make sure you do so. We share a lot of chats. You can share your chats too, you can share your opinions, you can bring your chats, and we all learn. Make sure you join our community channel on Telegram. We have a link in our Instagram bio. So follow the link in our Instagram bio and join the community channel on Telegram. Let's move on to this. So this is how we wrapped up GBP USD from 1 hour time frame all the way to 5 minutes. Now let's move on to gold. Now we did a very good job with gold over the week, over the past 2 weeks. We did a very, very fine job with gold. Gold was purely demystified. Now most people say that gold is treated differently and you need to do this. Gold is the same as every other trade, every other asset, every other currency in the market. There's nothing extraordinary about gold. The only fact that it's way up a lot of volumes. But if you're looking at technical perspective, whatever works on, let's say GBP should work on gold. Whatever your trade plan is, whatever your trade strategy is, whatever you trade with, gold is no different. Gold is like every other asset. There is no difference. You don't treat gold differently and say, okay, this works on gold, it doesn't work on gold. Is just another asset in the market. Whatever works on any stock or any currency or any whatever works on gold too. So if its market structure is the same market structure for gold too, it doesn't change. Okay, so from here we see price making higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then here price failed to make a new high and then broke this low again, pulled back and then broke this low again here properly. So now here becomes the source of the break of this low. Once again, this zone here becomes a very sensitive zone, very strong zone for the fact that it's broke is the source of the break of this low here. Now price came all the way down and price was pulling back. I noticed two zones that we could get a reaction from. First zone here, then our second zone here. So I was expecting a good reaction from this zone here or this zone here. So you can see my arrow here, my directional bias indication here, that I was expecting price to pull back into the zone and give us a beautiful reaction. And that is exactly what happened. Price came to that first zone, as I indicated here, this first zone. Price came exactly to that first zone. And there was a very nice reaction. It was a very beautiful reaction here. Okay. So that was our uh first catch for gold. So gold came all the way down as it was expected. And then on the way down, gold created a three drives pattern. Now I'm not going to go into what a three drives pattern is. If you want to learn about waves or stuff like this, that is in a different dimension. So I can't get into it. Those are my mentorship. I'm sure they will be able to explain to you what a three drives pattern is. So gold, after catching this zone here all the way down, gold ended up in forming a three drives pattern. Gold traded into a WEM candle here and formed the three drives pattern on the way down. So it gave us another opportunity. A three drives pattern is another opportunity for a buy. Okay, so we took our trade here, and this trade was actually given in our VIP channel. I think it was given in our free channel too. So we took our entry here on this trade here. After forming the three drives pattern into the trade, into the WEM candle here, reaction into the WEM candle here, forming the three drive pattern, took our entry here, and then it was an explosive buy on gold, tapped into into our take profit, and actually disrespected our take profit, but it was a good trade anyway. So that is how we wrapped up gold. First, we took a good sell here, paid attention to structure. Price came into the zone. We caught this one, formed a three drive pattern on the way down, took another entry. There was a beautiful one on trade. So that's how we wrapped up the trade on gold. Let's go into our last trade, which is US 30. We've been having very good trades on US 30 for a while now. This was another example. Okay, again, we pay attention to structure. Low is broken in a quick uptrend here. Higher high, higher low, higher high. The low broken here, pull back into structure, break this low again, pull back into structure to have another sensitive zone reaction here, then break another low. Now this again is the source of the break of this low. Just like this was the source of this break of this low. Price went close to it, reacted, broke this low, and the price came close to this zone 2. This zone 2 was the source of break of this low. So once the source, there's a source that causes the break, or the origin of the break of a previous low. Now that origin or that source becomes a sensitive zone. When price gets to that source, there's most likely to get a reaction from it. This is the source of the break of this low. The price got close to it and there was a reaction. Came down to break this low. Now that makes this zone also the source of the break of this low. So price goes to that zone and then there is another reaction to break this low. Now this zone again becomes the source of the break of this low. Price comes down and then pulls back close to that zone again. And that gave us an entry for US 30. Came close to the zone, reacted nicely, and we took profits nicely on this trade. Almost all these trades were shared in my community channel on Telegram. So if you haven't joined, once more, if you haven't joined, make sure you do that and then you join. And then share your ideas, share your trades, and then you learn a lot more from the whole precision based trading community. So this is how we wrapped up US 30, broken down nicely. Again, let me go to it. Price was in a quick uptrend, higher high, higher low, higher high. Broke this structure here. Here is the source. Price went close to the structure and then broke the structure here. Now the year becomes a source again. Price moves close to it and gets a reaction again. Breaks this structure. Now here again becomes a strong zone because it propelled to the break of the structure. The price pulls back to that zone. We have an entry and we have a beautiful take profit. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly make sure you subscribe and kindly make sure you hit the notification button. It means a lot to us. And get notified anytime we drop a video like this. This is precision based trading. See you guys later.